The meat industry is doing a great job of keeping things as safe as possible. They're working very hard to make sure that the products that consumers are buying is as safe as possible.
The beef in the United States is safe, regardless whether we're talking about conventionally raised product, whether we're talking about organic or natural. All beef is safe because it's all inspected by the USDA. All of the standards that go into effect for traditional, conventionally raised product are also applied to any other form of production system as well.
Potentially ground beef could have some microbial contaminants. Animals are grown in an environment where there's potential contaminants. They're grown outside, and so those contaminants can potentially get into the meat eventually.
If we look at intact steak products or roast products, the inside of that muscle, where it's never been exposed to the outer air surface, is sterile. That's why we can safely cook and prepare steak and roast meats to a rare degree of doneness, because the inside of that meat was never contaminated or never even had the potential to be contaminated with any form of pathogenic bacteria. Ground beef product, on the other hand, is something that's highly a concern because the outside of that product, what was once the outside, is ground up into what is now the inside of the product. Because of that, the outside is no safer than the inside, and so we have to make sure that we prepare those products accordingly because of that.
Any ground beef, pork, lamb, those should be cooked to 160 degrees. That temperature is safe to make sure that we know that you're killing off any bacteria that could be present. Definitely always use a thermometer to make sure that the temperature is correct. Unfortunately, color is not a really good indicator, in particular for ground meats, of if it's done or not. I tell people microorganisms don't care what color the meat is, they only care what temperature it's been cooked to. So make sure that temperature is getting up to 160 degrees for ground meats. If you're cooking a roast or a steak, intact products that haven't been needle tenderized, those only need to be cooked to 145 degrees.
From where contamination can occur, it can occur at any point in time from the time that animal's harvested all the way up until the time it goes onto the plate. A lot of time consumers don't take a lot of responsibility for mishandling raw meat products in their own home.
It's so important that the whole way from the farm all the way to the consumer, that we're doing things as safely as possible, that we're making sure that we're all using safe handling practices.